You better vote.
What?
Cast that vote.
Why?
If you want to have a voice, cast that vote.
There's Jazzy casting her ballot for the first time in 2018. It was a local election, but still she got to vote for governor at that time. 2009 and 2013, we went to the Obama inaugurations, and she was able to see alongside me and her aunts a president that reflected our own complexion. And it was a very exciting time for us to take that in and be a part of that. It was freezing cold in DC, and it was packed to the gills with, I don't know, like 1 million plus people, it seemed like. But the excitement of being there together for the same cause, to be part of history, it was amazing. And I look forward to doing it again. So we're dedicating this episode to the music around politics. Not getting into politics itself. We are steering clear of that wildfire. But who can ignore what has transpired in this particular presidential race around music? Hey, thanks so much for joining us on episode 7 of Fisher Family Bands. Unfortunately, Jazz wasn't able to join us today. She is such a trooper. She was feeling sick as a dog the last couple of days, but managed to throw everything at it and get herself well enough to go to work today. So here's fingers crossed that she is doing okay, and that if she needs to, she will come on home early and go to bed, because she still didn't sound too great when she left the house. But you know, you got to do what you got to do, right? That's what it is. So I am here to hold down our episode for it and provide you guys with another podcast episode of the Fisher Family Bands. We chose today to discuss the musical canvas behind our political spectrum, and not just in this current election, but looking back over time and taking it all in and turning over all the stones to really discern why is this such an impact? Why is music such a motivator for voters? Why is it one of the better communicators for candidates to connect with their base? And or is it, maybe really people are like, turn down the music and let's just hear what this guy has to say, or what this. But who can ignore what has transpired in this particular presidential race around music? I mean, the impact of Kamala Harris getting to use Beyonce's song "Freedom" at her for her rallies, and kind of as a song to represent her and her candidacy, or the impact of having endorsements from artists like Taylor Swift or Billie Eilish. These are not insignificant by any means. And if you think they are, then just wait another 4 more years when another onslaught of these artists' fans will be eligible to vote, because they are loyal to their base, just like MAGA is loyal to its base. But I want to reiterate a couple things. This is not going to get into politics. That's not what this podcast is about. We are here for the music, always, first and foremost. And we could not possibly turn our heads away from just how invaluable music is on the campaign trail, at the rallies, at the inauguration, and with the current climate that we're in. Just really intrigued me to see how embroiled some of these artists are in making sure and very clear that if their music is utilized by a candidate that they are not backing, they want to get out there and make it clear that that is not who they're representing, even though their literal words and creation has been usurped by that person. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to dig in and we're going to get in that groove. Thanks for joining us.
Podcast
Fisher Family Brand. Y'all, my head is spinning. This election season is crazy.
All right, folks. So here we are. It's less than 50 days away from November 5th. Early registration voting does have a start date in October for some places. I've got information for Orange County, North Carolina, if that's helpful to you guys, even though now I'm in Alamance County, but I'm going to get that information together for myself and hopefully we can share that out in some way, shape, or form. But time just flies on by. And, the way it seems is before you even have a chance to digest what has just happened, boom, another thing is happening. So it's like people's eyes have to stay this wide open and your ears have to be perked to catch the latest of whatever is happening in either camp, out in the world in general, with the actual current president. It's just so much stuff. So, that alone is one reason why we're not even trying to get into the political discussions at hand, but to keep it in the jams. And choice of words, Crystal, because I was just going to discuss the musicians and artists that have put their, raised their hands and put their flags up for one candidate or the other. There are plenty out there who have chosen to keep that information to themselves, and I get that. Times are cray. But here we have quite a few artists that have indeed stood up and said, we are for Kamala Harris. Very most notably, Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish did so recently. Beyonce hasn't made any commentary on the matter, but has lent her song Freedom to the Harris camp, which speaks volumes in and of itself. And then you have on the other side of the ticket, Trump has always had Lee Greenwood in his camp. Kid Rock has always been a Trumper. And of late, some of the artists that came forward on his behalf, a rapper named Sexy Red, Kanye West is somewhere out there possibly going to vote for him if he chooses to vote. I don't even know if Kanye's an artist anymore. Ooh, I don't know if that's cool to say, but I've never been a Kanye fan, so take that if you want. But then he's also got this Nicky Jams guy that he inadvertently introduced as a sexy hot chick that he thought, because of the name Nikki. And, he's already probably drooled over Nikki Haley once or twice. So why not have another Nikki to drool over? And then lo and behold, this guy steps up on stage and it's like, no, it's me. I'm Nicky Jams. Trump calls this guy out, basically saying he's some hot chick. And once Nikki steps up, realizes, oh, oops, sorry, not a hot chick, but a dude, a Latino dude. And so I'm sure that's shriveled up pretty quick. But here, Mr. Jam got himself in one, didn't he? Because he was over here giving his support to Donald Trump. Meanwhile, the country of his supporters, the origin of his supporters, Puerto Rico, and the band that kind of made him, Maná, were like, what the hell, bro? and kind of disowned him on the quick. So apparently, they had songs together that were quickly taken down. And Nicky Jam, who is a reggaeton star, I don't know.
Mom, it's reggaeton. Come on. It's Latin dance music. You've listened to it before.
He basically did a quick switch, whoop, whoop, and was like, nah, Trump, see ya, and deleted all evidence of his support in the last 72 hours. So I don't know if that's going to get him back in with Mana or with the supporters of his music, but Trump, easy come, easy go, I guess. So he's still got Kid Rock, though. And, from what I could see, artist wise, not a lot beyond Kid Rock and Lee Greenwood and Sexy Red, who I think did perform at one of his rallies in Florida. And that's kind of it. Then it's an array of folks like, Hulk Hogan and Amber Rose, who are not artists but are celebrities and well known, and they are putting their names behind Trump. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris has this just unending list and constant growing list of artists that are happily stepping forward in support of her candidacy. And honestly, the list is far too long to name. It extends well beyond the list of artists and music that was utilized for the DNC. But we've got that here to share with you because I found that just fascinating, especially some of the reasons behind their use of a particular artist for a certain state. So I think that you'll find that equally interesting. And, if not, you can check out one of our other podcasts that's not about. So one of the things we wanted to do was to nail down a few legal logistics when it came to candidates and music. I was able to find from the Board of Trustees of the University of Illinois in 2018, this piece written by Dan Wool Schwinder, who's an attorney. And he wrote, "The copyright conflict between musicians and political campaigns spins around again." So this is 2018. We are middle of Trump era at this point, and we are seeing a few artists who are experiencing him utilizing their music without permission, and many other Republicans following suit. So one of the things I want to read to you, it says, "Determining the effect of music on voters remains difficult. Certainly, music possesses the power to inspire, motivate, and energize a campaign and the voting public. The 2016 presidential campaigns continued the modern trend of seeking inspirational, popular songs to rally voters across the nation. And as in prior years, musicians voiced disapproval over the perceived unauthorized use of their songs and raised claims of copyright infringement." So he lists several artists: Neil Young, Adele, the Rolling Stones, REM, Queen, Luciano Pavarotti's estate, and Elton John, among others, asked Donald Trump to stop using their songs at his events. This is obviously nothing new, but it seems like things have really ramped up in this particular presidential race. And with the advent of AI, we have seen already the misuse of that, and it's critical that people have the ability to say, "Hey, that's my creation, and there's a limit to its use. Just because it's out there in the public doesn't mean that it belongs to everybody for whatever nefarious purpose they might have. Well, there are artists who feel that their art has been sullied because it's being utilized by somebody that they vehemently oppose or may disagree with their policies. And it should be there should be a way for an artist to say, no, that's not what I want my work to align with. That's not a message that I agree with. And unfortunately, from some of the things I've read, you have options. You can take somebody to court. You can do the cease and desist, as that the example was given there. But taking action, taking litigation is costly. You're going to have to hire attorneys. You're going to have to take these people to court. That takes time. That takes money on both sides. So consider this. The majority of politicians that have encountered this issue in the past have gotten their cease and desist or gotten the request to stop using their this artist's work and said, oops, okay, no problem, and done just that, stopped. But now we have Trump, who does not stop at no, and has actually decided to pursue the litigation and allow it to play out. So now you have funds being utilized to take artists to court or fight artists in court for the use of their work in a political race. And, the semantics of it are so ridiculous because some of the contracts might indicate that a certain venue has the carte blanche to use an artist's work. And so that's the little avenue in which these folks can niggle in and get use an artist's work without their permission, and then just kind of flip them the bird when they're like, hey, would you stop? And they say no and continue to do it anyway. Isaac Hayes' estate in particular has been up against this with Trump, as have the Foo Fighters over their song My Hero. And so it's just so many different things to kind of look at, and is it worth the battle, one side or the other? Well, I can see the artist's point. If they are either not wanting to have their work referencing one side or the other, or they are choosing one side or the other and don't want the other side using their work, it should be available to them to pull the plug on that activity. Thanks so much for joining us at Fisher Family Bands.
Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Until then, stay in the groove.